Welcome to the morning break. I'm Rob Patz. We got music now. It is good to be here. Happy Tuesday. Look at the music. I kind of like it. Did you have a good Monday? Whatever it is you were doing. It is good to be here. Hey, listen, I want to start off first and foremost by thanking you so very much. Thank you so much for sharing the show yesterday. As we expanded from being only a YouTube show at that point, and it was a challenge. I have to tell you, and I was talking about this last night with somebody. It was the whole thing was a challenge. Mercy. Yes, yesterday. It was one of those challenging days. But I gotta tell you this, though, it taught me something. It taught me that you have to keep going. You've got to keep moving forward. You have got to, whatever it is, you have got to keep moving. And that was kind of what yesterday was. It was 4 times before we actually got the whole thing to work. And what do you think, by the way? The whole tracker got our weather down there now as a tracker. I don't have to read them to you. Some of our favorite locations around the country. We randomly select those. Seriously, I just do a randomizer program that I have on my computer for weather, and I have it randomized. So Atlanta, by the way, seems very popular, and so does Dallas. But you look at Dallas, it's 100 degrees. But here's the thing: with the heat index, it is going to be 110. I have been in Dallas when it felt like that, and it was awful. We did an outside event. It was so hot that I felt like I was going to pass out like the whole time. And we stayed hydrated as best we could, but it was terrible how it felt. But welcome to the morning break. I'm Rob Patz. Man, it is good. It is good to be here. It is exciting to be able to do this. We got the intro music working. We got everything going. This is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, want to thank each and every one of you though for sharing with your friends the morning break. We had our biggest numbers yesterday. Of course, that doesn't say a whole bunch because we were just broadcasting the first week on YouTube. So YouTube numbers were, and now we're here, and 100 of you watched on Facebook, and man, I appreciate that. That is humbling. Most of you watched on the replay. It looked like, which is still great. Hey, listen, whatever it is and whatever you watch, I appreciate it. If you're new to the morning break is kind of 2 things put together. 2 of my favorite things. One, I used to be a morning radio guy, and so it's like doing a morning show. And 2, it's kind of like just hanging out with somebody and having coffee in the morning. So it's kind of those 2 things together. And to me, that's a win. And so that's what we're doing with the morning break. We've got some news coming up. We're going to talk about things that make you sound smart around the office. If you're watching while you're at work, it's always good to have these things. I had a friend when I worked in radio and this was when the internet was really new. So you're talking like the mid 90s. And he would like search for something every day to tell us, to kind of impress us with his knowledge. And I knew he was doing it on the internet, but we don't have to do it quite that way anymore, which I'm thankful for. But it was always interesting. He came up with the best stuff. He always did, and he always made it interesting. So I want to thank you for that. I want to give you an update on the show and where it's going and where we're building it out to be. So I want to tell you really quick about that. Is we're kind of seeing a growth that originally this was just going to be a Monday show. It was going to be Monday. Originally, it was going to be Monday for radio only. And that was the original thing because here in life, I want to tell you something. When God tells you something, you should do it and not drag your feet. And I'm a great example of that. And this has taken me, mm, gosh, I would say a year, over a year. Oh my word. Yeah, probably a year and a half, almost 2 years of me dragging my feet and reminding myself that I needed to do this and kind of telling God that, yeah, that's really neat idea, but I don't know if I have time to do that. I don't know if I can do that. I've got all this stuff going on, and so I just kind of, made it uh, just kind of a back burner thing, and a lot of other things. And if you know me, there were a lot of other things going on. I wasn't just sitting around not doing anything, but I was doing a lot of things that didn't. And it was kind of like this morning, super funny thing. And I texted Kristen this. I said, I don't think that there are people that are happy with me doing, and I'm not going to give him credit, so I don't even use his name. But there's this thing, and he obviously didn't want me to do the show. Two of the websites that my company owns went down, and they have no reason for going down. In fact, our IT people and the server folks today don't understand this. So dealing with that this morning. So there's a lot of other things to deal with. And I say that to say this is the most fun I have. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, listen, if you want, share this with people. Say hi in the comments. And I appreciate how many people watched on LinkedIn. That was super fun to see those numbers. By the way, check out the fact we've got some Major League Baseball updates, getting to the time of year where baseball becomes so important for those of us that watch baseball. Yeah, namely me. My Mariners, though, they've had a rough road trip. Philadelphia uh, showed them some tough love yesterday. Anyway, but those kinds of things going on. A lot of stuff I want to talk about. We, of course, have been talking about the fact that it's the morning break and I love my coffee. And we want to thank one of our great sponsors, 7 Weeks Coffee. When you order from 7weekscoffee.com, use the promo code ATV10 when you order, and they help us along. In fact, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Hey, thanks to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. They have been a fantastic part of what we are doing at Abundant TV and, of course, here on the morning break. But 7 Weeks Coffee, use the promo code ATV10 when you order 7weekscoffee.com. So I have to bring this up because we're less than 2 weeks away from Labor Day. Do you have any plans? And what are you doing? Interesting. Of course, for me, I got married on the Labor Day weekend 4 years ago. And it's so for Kristen and I, Labor Day weekend is we go on our anniversary trip every year. We are going to Mackinac Island again. This will be the third time we've done that. We love it there. We went to Portland, Maine a couple of years ago and loved Portland, Maine, and debated going back to Portland, Maine. The problem was, and it wasn't that we were really late in planning, because this was like early June. There was just not any hotel rooms at the time in in Portland, which by the way, super fun city. If you get a chance, you should go. It's very walkable. In fact, Kristen and I didn't rent a car. The shuttle for the hotel that we stayed at picked us up. We went from the airport to the hotel, checked in, and it was funny because we flew late night. We flew late night on a Wednesday night out of Detroit. Went there literally night one. We literally just we got into the hotel because I think we didn't get land until like 11 something, and so we get up the next day and we kind of like, okay, I hope they said this is really walkable. And we did, and we walked all over town. It was super fun. Ate at a restaurant that was so cool. So like it was a diner, and like you sat at the counter, and it was just super amount of fun. Enjoyed every minute of it, and really, like I said, had a great time doing that. Going to Portland, but Mackinac kind of holds a place for us, Mackinac Island, because of the fact that there are no cars, no motorcycles. There are bicycles and horses, and that's it. And it's kind of this for us. It is kind of a just a yeah. It feels good. It's like everything kind of releases. You just feel rested. You come back feeling rested. And now, of course, it is Labor Day weekend. It is very busy, and we have a lot of fun going. We've never stayed, and this year we're staying Labor Day Monday. We usually get out of town or out of Mackinac before that, but this year we are taking the plunge and staying all the way through Labor Day. We're going to spend the day there. We've got a whole places we're going to go. You can, of course, follow me on social media and find out where we are, what we're doing, how much ice cream I've eaten, how much fudge. Because see, they're famous for their fudge. If you don't know this, they're famous for their fudge. And you can do all that. Follow us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, even on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. We'll do some stuff from over there for TikTok, I'm sure. LinkedIn, if you're watching me on LinkedIn, all those neat places. YouTube, I'm sure we'll do some stuff. But there's a new website called Act Social. And we are one of the corporate sponsors for Act Social. And we're really proud at Abundant TV to be a part of this, believing in it. Staying with some great companies like Hobby Lobby and a few others that are doing this to help promote a family-based social media. Acts Social. When you sign up, remember to in the referral put Abundant TV. Not that it matters, but it's nice for them to know that we're a part of it. We're super excited to be a corporate sponsor. And be watching for some stuff that we'll be doing with Axe Social. There is the QR code. You can find it there, and just follow along. And we would love to have you be our friend. We have it's called the Abundant Group on there, and I haven't looked today. I looked yesterday, and I believe it was 49 people, which is neat because it's a brand new social media thing, and it's like that. You always have to make sure that you're in ground floor, and we really are. It's exciting. It started just earlier this year, and met the owner of the company that runs it. It's a software company, and man, I was just sold immediately. So Axe Social, and go there, use the promo code ATV when you do, and we appreciate it so much. It's free, and you can't beat free, can you? I mean, it's just super cool place. Hey, listen, one thing that Kristen and I have been talking about and would love to have you be a part of is we're doing these Bible studies. We're getting ready to do our Bible study, and we have got that coming up. We're probably going to start sometime mid-September with a Bible study. We're going to be a part of that. I'm going to get a link together. It's not today. Like I said, I woke up to things that were happening, and I just kind of freaked out and needed to take care of those. So, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you taking the time and being a part of our Bible studies. We think that's going to be super neat. You like the weather tracker and the sports tracker, both of those at the bottom of the page. And we went with yellow because it's like sunbreak. And I wore orange today, just to kind of continue on with that. Kind of that. I don't know. I think the scary part of everything that's happening right now is that we talked about Labor Day. We're talking about kind of summer fading away. Labor Day was always, and I think for you and me as a kid, Labor Day kind of marked the end of summer. It was kind of sad because then you were, at least for us, my wife now, she loved school. So for her, she was excited to go back to school. For those of us that were not that way, it was good to stay out of school as long as possible. But needless to say, uh, Labor Day always kind of does that. But one of the neat things that this time of year, as we get closer to fall, is an event I just heard about for the first time last year. It's called Stargazer Night, and it's tonight where you can see over 100,000 stars that are going to be visible in the sky, and some of these are really only seen basically tonight. So that's very cool. So it's called Stargazer Night. If you're into that stuff, which my wife loves the Northern Lights. Tell you a quick story. But if you're into that, tonight's the night. Go out, check that out, go outside. Northern Lights this last year, everybody's taking these great pictures in the Northern Lights. We live in the Midwest. We live in a smaller community, live near a big town, but we're not in the big city. And so we would go outside, and my wife just was super frustrated. It was either cloud cover every time the Northern Lights happened or something like that. And so for Kristen, it was, come on. So last year, one of the final times they said it was going to be really visible, the Northern Lights, we went outside, and it was such a cool experience because Kristen got to see the Northern Lights. It worked out for us, but I don't know. We may do this tonight, the Stargazer thing tonight, because we do live in a place. Now, if you live in a city, like I used to live in Seattle, these kinds of things, you never saw it because of the city lights. You didn't see that. So anyway, hey, a lot going on in the news, including some more volcanoes erupting in the Pacific Ocean. This is kind of interesting. There have been over 1,000 tremors a day. It really does raise the expectation that we were going to see a major eruption in the ocean probably sometime before the end of the year. It is an interesting thing if you study that stuff, that you kind of look at it and go, wow, this is really kind of crazy what is happening. Of course, we had the tsunami warning earlier last month. It's been strange. Or was it this month? Was it August, or was it anyway? By the way, checking out the markets yesterday, they all were up, and that's really cool. And it's good to see that stuff going on. Some interesting things happening, including I thought it was interesting to see one that, not that I'm a construction guy or not that I can do this stuff, but to see Home Depot's earnings were up a little bit, but not what was expected. So kind of interesting there. A lot of neat stuff happening in that world. And of course, you see the sports ticker. And I want to give a shout out to my home state, Ohio. Ohio, and especially to the city of Columbus. Was there a couple weeks ago. Love Columbus, Ohio. Went to Buck Mason. If you know, you know. And while I was in Columbus, I heard something about this, kind of from a couple of different people that we were out, we were out that day, and I heard this when we were in a sports place. But the mayor of Columbus is working to create kind of the hub of the United States for women's sports, including professional volleyball. Now, I want to tell you something. Volleyball is not really one of my sports. It never has been one of my sports. I have to be completely, really upfront and very candid with you. Never really followed it. I've been to a couple events. My company helped with a beach volleyball event a few years ago in California, but I've never really been a part of it. Did not know there was a professional volleyball league. How cool is that? Anyway, they are working on all this stuff as far as better facilities. They want to bring several of the national women's sports hubs there. Even talking about what they could do to bring the offices of the WNBA to Columbus. I think that's kind of interesting. Good for them, and I think that's going to be a lot of neat economy stuff. And I always look at life because I'm a business person. I look at life as to how does this affect the economy long term? Like, what are we doing to help economy? And these kinds of things help. And it's like, well, like I talked about, um, stuff with Buck Mason. I love Buck Mason. They're in Easton Town Center. You can find them or find them online. If you like, vintage type, and this is kind of what this is. I guess you call it a vintage type polo. That's kind of my jam and my style. And so I love that kind of stuff. And I hope you like, by the way, I hope you like the sports ticker that we have been running um today for baseball. And it's neat. Now we're going to switch over to the weather because people need to know the weather. But final story of the day, and kind of before I go into some other stuff that I want to talk about, but final story of the day is about football. And so I was scanning and because I love football and fantasy football. By the way, if you wanted to play this year with us, I'm sorry, we are full. And and hey, it happens. Next year we'll do it again. My other teams that are in the league went, hey Rob, chill on how many teams we're gonna have. We have 16 teams in our league this year. And it's fun. I like this kind of stuff. I like being able to do this. And so anyway, that's another story for another time. But what they're saying is, and I find this interesting. I looked at, I think it was about 5 or 6 articles. And the interesting thing about every one of these sports people, they said, hey, look at this. Look at the fact that probably Detroit's not going to be as good. I've got my opinion on that. I don't I like I think I think losing Aaron Glenn is going to be harder on the Lions than Ben Johnson. Ben, of course, the coach of the Chicago Bears now, and Aaron Glenn, of course, with the Jets. I think losing Aaron Glenn is going to be more difficult. I think defensively, I think is where the Lions will struggle more than offensively because Dan Campbell, if you remember right, if you're a real football person, you remember that Dan Campbell actually was calling all the plays um, up until a couple years ago. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's kind of neat. It should be interesting to see for them. They also talked about the Washington Commanders having a tougher, and I think it could be tough for the Commanders because last year just kind of it, they were with their new quarterback and everything. I think people weren't prepared for them. I think a lot of people are going to be prepared this year. Of course, got to give a shout out to Bobby Wagner who plays for the Redskins Commanders. Now, okay, so this and that was on purpose. It was an intentional. What do you think? A lot of talk that they're going to go back to the Redskin name from the Commanders. I'm old enough to remember the Redskin name. And to me, I think it, especially after hearing the story about why they did it and why they did it to name it after and honor this chief, I think they should do it. I think that's my opinion. Also, of course, these same experts picked the Kansas City Chiefs to fall off. In fact, two of them who will remain nameless picked the Denver Broncos to win that division. I I got nothing. Come on, people. They're the Chiefs. No. Oh, anyway, last break of the day here on the morning break, and we'll be back.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy, a life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Tuesday here on the morning break. Great to have you along. And like I said, kind of like a morning show and your best friend hanging out together. That's kind of what when I envisioned this, that was kind of the idea. And so listen, want to make sure you sign up for our Bible study. I will get the links. You'll be able to see it. We're excited about it. We think it's going to be a blast, and give you an opportunity for us to hang out. The neat thing about the Bible study, and I want to talk about this really quick, we're going to do it via Zoom, so you can hang out with us. You don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to. You can do anything you want as far as that. Just listen, and we're going to have a great time. Kristen and I are doing one. We've got a whole set of these coming up. We're going to do what's called a community call at some point in September, where we bring all these people together. And so I'll get a sign up sheet ready for you. Should be ready. Gosh, I would say probably later today. So this is Tuesday, August 19th. It should be ready sometime later today. We'd love for you to be a part of it. It is going to be, I think, incredibly cool, and have people going, that's a neat idea. And so we're excited. Man, it's a whole new day here at the morning break. It has been so much fun. We have had a blast doing it. And I just, and when I say we, it's basically me. Just so you know, there is nobody else. I write it, so if you have anyone to blame, it is me. I have done it all. We're going to have some special guests coming up. I wanted to talk about that really quick. We've got some guests coming up. We're going to have some regular people who are going to drop by and be a part of the show. And it's going to be kind of just a lot of fun. It'd be like if you were hanging out with me, which you are. Monday through Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Also Friday. Remember to join me on Thursdays at 10 a.m. for Thrive with my buddy Jason Webb, and we hang out and do that. It is so much fun, and I am so thankful that you have decided on this beautiful Tuesday, wherever you are. Check out your weather as we roll out for today's edition. So much fun. This is great stuff, and we appreciate you so very much. Remember to check out AbundantTV.com. That's AbundantTV.com. Check me out all over the place on social media. And until tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been the Morning Break.